Don't start unbelieving. That's the greatest 80s song ever.
Alright, so this is Double Dipper. I'm going to apologize right now. My voice might be a little hoarse. I apologize for that. Yes, this is Double Dipper, and the code at the very beginning is Paper Jam Dipper says, and then it's more jargon, so you have to actually translate the jargon into more jargon, which is pretty funny. It's better for Paper Jam Dipper.
That was horrifying. It's better for Paper Jam Dipper this way.
Yeah, what I kind of like is both him and Dipper number 2, when they get destroyed, it's like, oh, it's actually kind of sad. You kind of feel bad for him.
Okay, dude, I had a good run.
So this is an episode where they discover... I love this concept of a copying machine that copies people, and the way
it's
it
almost
works.
like somebody saw multiplicity.
No, but not like... The fact that it's done with a copying machine, I think is really clever, and then it comes to life on the paper. And so, I don't know, I really dug the idea.
I will say this, that was the first thing I said when he starts with, it's like, it can copy human beings. I was like, Dipper hops in. I'm like, no, dude, don't do it. I've seen multiplicity. This will end bad for you.
You'll ruin Michael Keaton's career. He'll come back with Birdman, kind of, hopefully. Please come back. You're a good actor. You're awesome.
Where did you go?
Birdman will tell us. Just replace Bird with Bat, and it'll tell us. So he makes a bunch of copies of himself because they're throwing this big party, which leads to one of my favorite jokes in the flyer when it says "big party, kids, teenagers welcome." It just says "free?" Question mark.
That needs to be my marketing campaign. I love that.
Free? Love that. So they all get there, and Dipper makes a bunch of copies to try and get with Wendy as part of this diabolical plan. Of course, it backfires.
This is gonna be a thing, isn't it? Him just constantly chasing after Wendy.
Yeah, I won't give anything away, but it does, like...
It's not terrible, I just, like... It's one of those cartoon trope plots that I kind of just...
They do, in the second season, they do something with it that you're kind of like, oh, good. And kind of the same thing with the Robbie character, too. Just when you're like, geez, are we really doing this? It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because that douchebag does not deserve to have my name. Seriously.
It is just the most, typical cliched bully third wheel.
Yeah, like somebody
character.
was asking me, was like, is this a flawless show? And I'm like, no. I'm like, there's a couple things I like. He's at the top of my list of like, just what a boring character.
Yeah, so boring. I mean, anyone, I don't know, to me, anyone that just has a permanent, like, eyebrows like this in a cartoon, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the boring character.
And it's not like I know people are going to be like, but he's meant to be boring, but you can still make that interesting. And
yeah, you can still make it fun.
Every time he pops on screen, I'm just like...
Like, Mabel's supposed to be goofy. She's supposed to be silly, but it's funny. Robbie is not funny.
Like, there's occasionally moments where he's just so into himself and that it is funny. And I'm like, if they played that up even, like, found a way to make that even funnier.
Yeah, like what they do with the rest of the comedy.
Yeah.
They push it that one level beyond that makes it really funny. But no, he's just sort of the... Yeah, we got these other characters we want to work on. You're just sort of the plot device. So Dipper makes this great big list, and he tries to go through with it. Doesn't work. Turns out naturally talking is what worked best. Learns the lesson, obviously. And then we also have the dance-off between Mabel and Pacifica Northwest, which is a great name. She comes back in a few times, which again at first is like...
She was annoying too.
She's a bit better than Robbie. They do a little bit more with her, and they give her a little bit more of a character as it goes on. But yeah, she's still... It's the bully, It's just sort of... And it's bullies can be fine. Nelson's a funny character in The Simpsons. Like, you can have a fun bully. Reese from Malcolm in the Middle is a very funny bully. But yeah, it's like when they're just a bully, it's pretty boring. But
I think you can tell that the
later
writer has a thing for the goofier characters. Like, I don't think he...
Like, that's why the show exists.
Yeah, his passion is not in the bully characters, that's for damn sure. Like, that's a good point. Like, Malcolm in the Middle, whoever wrote Reese's lines, they had a passion for that because he was hilarious.
So Mabel and her have this dance-off, and she makes new friends, these two girlfriends. One has to be voiced by Raina Corn from Adventure Time. I haven't checked, but it has to be. It puts forks in their fingers, improvement of human being. Great line.
Killed me. I was like looking at that. I'm like, that's kind of awesome.
And they come back again. Those are great. Actually, as another great example, those are pretty much side characters. They're just best friends. But every time they come in, they're almost always funny. They're funny characters. So they have this dance off and they lose, but they have friends still. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I have girlfriend." I love the fact that
It's
they
a very
lose.
good handling of a very obvious moral.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta give it that. Like, I'm just like, wow, if this wasn't such a good show, I would have sat there and been like, whatever. But I'm just like, I love the way they kept partying into the night. Like, let's keep this thing going.
Yeah, and I like I said, I
Way ahead of you.
like the fact that they actually lose, and it's not like, hey, wait, Pacifica rigged this, and oh, nobody likes her. No, it's like, no, they lose, but it doesn't matter.
And everybody
they have
loves
friends and
Pacifica still.
Yeah.
Like, they all left for her boat.
No, I love that, and I think that's
which
something...
is really close to reality, let's be honest.
but that is kind
Even
of...
if you hate the rich bitch, you still want to party on her toys.
But that's the thing that I think, it's going to be like a meme somewhere now, or like someone's going to gift that, just like, even if you hate the rich bitch, you're still going to party on her toys.
That's life.
That should be a shirt. But no, I like the fact that they, especially for kids watching that, I think that's a good kind of feel, because it's like, you're not always going to win, but it's like, it's cool. You look at the bright side of it, and like, you found new people to hang out with, and I really respect it for taking that angle, that not only does she kind of cheat to win, but she doesn't get her comeuppance. Like, she's still liked, everybody likes her, but it's like,
No
Mabel also gained
comeuppance.
something. But Mabel also gained something, so I thought that was really cool. Like you said, a good handling of an obvious moral. I think it's a good way of putting
And
it.
you sound like a wrestler. I want to pound her face! Fill it with pain!
So, yeah, no, good episode. I mean, not too many secrets in this one. I was trying to look for stuff in the background, didn't really find anything. Once in a while you'll find stuff in the shop that's like covered by a sheet, and you sort of, oh, what's that? Or like, but particularly in the main shop itself, there's always like a couple things I'm like, that hasn't changed. That's always
Okay,
there.
so this
And
show
I'm
just
wondering-
has to be watched twice, because I'm not catching half the things. You're like, oh, that thing in scene 5, like
Well,
right
no,
at
but
the
some of
3-minute 40 mark, that thing under the sheet, that's gonna come back later.
But-
hey, see that plant in the corner? Keep your eye on that.
But that's kind of the fun thing about it. But this one didn't really have that many secrets or anything like that.
I guess I'm just trying to enjoy the jokes. Like, that's the problem, is like, I'm literally watching this, trying to remember all the jokes that I want to mention that I think are really funny.
But there's so many good ones.
Yeah, I
right?
forget, like, probably 90% of them. By the end of it, it's like, I can remember, like, 2 jokes. I'm like, and it's not because the jokes are bad, it's because they're so good, it's just like...
I had the same jealousy fantasy, dude.
Oh, that was a great one, yeah. I had the same jealousy fantasy. I love it when he's getting his face found. He's like, guys, it's me. Because it's the most nonsensical statement to say when you've got 20 copies of you pounding your face. Guys, it's me.
And something we noticed too when I first saw this, I saw a smaller TV watching this on the bigger one. The other dippers are a little faded, which I thought was clever.
I thought that was awesome, yeah.
But very slightly. It's hard to pick up if you're not watching it on a bigger TV. So get a bigger TV.
Yeah, I think the other thing is because we're doing this, we did the first, 6?
Yeah.
This is 7. Yeah, so we did those all in a row. Now we're about, 2 weeks later, a week later?
Something like that, yeah. Like a
Yeah,
week later.
it's like the day before Thanksgiving. He's got a cold. And so we put it on, and once again, I'm just like, there's Dipper. I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember he's getting the groove. The second he talks, I'm like, oh, I keep forgetting. I'm going to have to go through this all over
But
again.
honestly, I think this
and
is a
get
good
used
episode.
to that voice.
I think it's a good episode to get used to that voice, though, because I think he works well off himself, honestly. I think all the voices
again,
talking
I mean,
to
it's
it.
acted. I love the acting. The acting's great. It's just, I see that, like, 10-year, like, I know he's supposed to be 12, but he looks like a 9-year-old, like, maybe. Like, so I see that 9-year-old body, and it's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like,
Hey, come on, guys.
But, yeah, no, so I'll probably be used to it by about episode 2 of this round. So.
Yeah. So, cool. I think that's about it. We'll see you in the next one. See you there.